Captain's Log Supplemental. I can make a YouTube video every day and continue to see the chemtrails being ejected into our atmosphere every day, as you can see here. I really don't need to make a YouTube video or any kind of video of the chemtrails spraying every day because it's an everyday occurrence. It would just be monotonous, and it's just one of those things that we know that it's happening, and they're not going to let up. It's just never ending. They have enough money to fill the tanks full of gas and whatever they're spraying, and continue to make bets through the Chicago Exchange to see, and it's 50% chance if it's going to rain, 100%, 40%, whoever wins those bets, gets the coffers for the day, It's all about the money, We're gonna perish if we don't lose the monetary system. I was on a website today. Australia makes 900 million a year bringing uranium ore over here for our nuclear purposes here in the United States. So to cut over to what I have been looking at and watching most of the morning is the Fukushima website, and a lot of people seem to think that this little bit of cloud cover here is something like fog, because they live on a coastal area right here. Fukushima's right on the ocean, and it's fog. I've read a lot of comments on a number of different sites where people think that hydrogen still exploded these buildings and shredded concrete from giant steel beams. I mean, hydrogen's that explosive. Like, I believe that. Anyway, this right here is steam coming from number 4. Now, I've seen a lot of steam coming from number 3. I've seen steam coming from number 2. As a matter of fact, there could be a little steam coming from number 2 right here. It's hard to make out sometimes. It looks like it, but the camera and the video is just so atrocious, it's not cool. Even when I go to full screen here, it's just hard to imagine why they don't have better views and cameras that the public can see than this. This is ridiculous. And then during the daylight, there's a giant blank spot here in the middle. It's all fuzzy because of some protective coating they put on the lens. And what a failure on the Japanese professionals that put this rig together, because for years they've been experts in photography and advancements in photography, and they just couldn't get this little simple thing right. But they need to set up some more, I think, over on the other side, especially for the public view. They shouldn't keep this thing out of sight. It's this radiation. It's obviously radiated steam. I mean, all the water that's burning off of the fuel pool number 4 is obviously probably radiated heavily. But do they say it's radiated heavily, or do they even say it's steaming at all? So I just wanted to give a little clip to show what I've been watching most of the morning. And I live in a coastal town, a lot of fog every morning most of the time, and it's foggy everywhere. If this was fog, it would be all over here, and it would be all over the screen, and we wouldn't even be able to see this, not a bit. It would be fog 2 feet in front of you. You can barely see, because that's how thick fog gets, and that's how thick that is. You can barely see the reactor area where it was in number 3, and then you can barely, you can't even make out number 4. And I thought I saw some steam coming out of the stacks too, but the camera angle's at a angle so that we can't see the top of the stacks. I mean, these stacks are what? Oh shoot, I forget that height. They're up there. Are they 3,500 feet? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've discussed that subject. But anyway, I've noticed that it gets thicker, goes away for a little bit, and then gets thicker, and then it'll be a big thickness of steam coming from the fuel pool. I believe it's the fuel pool for number 4. For all I know, it could be coming from the ground. The steam coming from the ground, because the mass of the melted rods have reached the aquifer, and it's just billowing out of the cracks. They really need to start being more open about this and come to realize that we need to all converge on this site. All of our brains around the world, all of our scientists need to put on their thinking caps and put an end to this. Now, you can't remove fuel rods that are damaged into dry cask for years until they've cooled off, and try to pick them up right now, they'll probably crumble as soon as they try to pick them up. So the only thing we can do is, we can't package this stuff and send it to the sun, which would probably even damage the sun. I mean, this stuff that we're screwing around with has got to end. There's no stopping a chain reaction that's happening right now. That's why the problem still exists. 40 years of smooth sailing doesn't even amount to one screw up day. Just like Arnie said, it's ridiculous to think that nuclear power is cheap, which it isn't. And this is proof in the pudding. How much is this cleanup going to be? 1,000 billion is a trillion. So a trillion, probably by now, and maybe 10 trillion at the end? Who knows? All I know is that they need to try to contain what's going on here. Day and night, they got to get this steam handled. They got to get it nitrogen on it, cool it down as much as they can, and cover it with some kind of super concrete that they've developed. Scientists have developed really high-tech stuff these days, to do all kinds of things. The government has developed things 10 years, 20 years to our better what they really show the public. So they really don't want to do anything drastic here, because they don't want to lose their money coming from nuclear. Because as soon as they admit things are too drastic and the nuclear power shares start dropping, they lose their money, and they lose their vacation home, or they lose their bank account for one bank, and that's it. The rich are always going to be rich because they have so much they would never spend it in 20 lifetimes. Kids too, grandkids, on down the line. They just have to have more money. They cannot have enough. Power and money is an addiction. Addiction is a sickness, and these people are sick. No amount of radiation is good, but they say, oh, we're upping the level of radiation that is in the fish, in the tuna, in the seafood. Go ahead, grow all your crops there. It's ridiculous to think that they are just saying, oh, now you can handle it. Before, no measurable amount was good for the human until these accidents happen, and then, oh, you can take a little bit, and we're gonna raise it even higher because the levels are so high. So I know I'm rambling, but there's no music I can put in the background. There's nothing I can do really to even and smooth this out. There's just nothing. be copyright infringed or something. Excuse me. Anyway, there's a buildup of steam right now, as you can see. The fuel pool kind of disappeared for a little bit there, you know, and then, you know, it showed its head, its ugly head again. That demolition was something else, though. That demolition was something else. I don't know if you saw that on YouTube or even live. I saw a little bit of it live, but I'll tell you, that is something else. That dust from all of that concrete being shattered, you know, with that jackhammer, you know, kind of it was like a combination, you know, it was a cutting torch, plasma torch, and a jackhammer all in one, and they were just going at it, and then they didn't have any water on it, and all the dust was going in the air. It was just all over the place, just all over the place. It was incredible to watch. You can watch it on YouTube right now if you wanted. It's part of the plan to, like, try to help. Excuse me. Try to help the weight, you know, of the thing, so they can remove a lot of stuff. So they can put a crane to try to remove this fuel pool, spent fuel in the fuel pool. But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work because the fuel pool is, and the rods are too damaged to take out. The fuel pool's damaged. It would probably crumble just trying to take it out. Take it out. You know, it's ridiculous. So anyway, sorry about the long one. I just wanted to give a little wrap while this was playing out. Take care. God bless, and I will try to make another vid here shortly. I got a couple of other websites that I found that are really cool that I'd like to share with the rest of the world, so I'll try to put that together soon. Take care. God bless.